Good evening. Welcome back. We're here with another Hidden Gems Sports Scouting live stream one-on-one interview. We've got a new client with us that we want to introduce and talk a little bit about his story. This is Tori Hicks Jr. Tori is a running back. He played at Fort Hays State University and Lincoln University of Missouri. Tori is coming straight from college. Finished his college career in 2021. He roughly stands 5'8", around 175 to 180 pounds. So he's a smaller scat back type. Tori, how you doing today?
I'm good, Coach. How you doing? How you doing today?
Doing well, man. How's your weekend been?
It's been good. I've been able to see some family. I came back home in Kansas City and seen family for Labor Day yesterday, and then we had another barbecue again today. So I was able to catch up with family, got to see a lot of the fam, and everybody was around. So it was a lot of happy and smiles and stuff like that. So it was a fun time.
Cookouts are always fun. I'm sure it's nap time's not too far away from now. All that eating over the weekend.
Oh yeah, eating good. That's what I can say. Every time I come home, I'm eating good. So it's a blessing. Have a family that can cook big meals and it still be delicious. Because sometimes it's not the case.
So you're what, in the Kansas City area?
Yes, sir. Home in the
Okay.
KC.
So you and one of our other clients, Marcus Brown, a linebacker out of Missouri Western State, are good friends. And I asked Marcus this question, and I'll just go ahead and get it out of the way now, since we're talking about cookouts in Kansas City. Obviously, being from the state of Tennessee, we have a certain city in the state that has a claim to the best barbecue in the country. So I'll ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot in front of anybody that's watching right now or it knows you're doing this. Are you a Kansas City barbecue person, or are you more of a Memphis barbecue person?
Ooh. So I believe Kansas City has the best barbecue. All in Missouri as a whole, it has the
You
best.
didn't hesitate with that answer.
No, I'm not going to hesitate. We have too many different options here in Kansas City for barbecue, whether it be hole in the walls or it be full on restaurants and where you can dine in and eat as an actual, I would say more of a dress up or a formal type dinner. So I think Kansas City and Missouri as a whole has the best barbecue in the United States. So
Okay, all right. I'll take that answer. I know, I'm sure that you got people that know you're doing this or will see this, and you don't want to disappoint with the wrong answer. I told Marcus before he answered to think long and hard about that answer, because there were people that were seeing it or were going to see the interview. So,
oh,
um,
I definitely have friends in Memphis that are definitely going to tease me about this and be like, "Oh yeah, we can show you some different spots that we showed you before." So,
well, I hope nobody disowns you or cuts off contact for a period of time because of that question. I always have to have fun with the interviews a little bit, and that opened the door for some fun there. But so did y'all have barbecue at the cookout or?
yeah, we had barbecue yesterday, and then we had wings and rotel today. So it was a plethora of meals for both days.
Okay, no ribs on the grill or nothing, or?
Oh, it was real. We had ribs, chicken, brisket. What else did we have yesterday? You gotta have the Polish sausage. You gotta have brats. You
Yeah,
gotta have all
yeah.
the hot dogs. The full 9 yards, mac and cheese, green beans. My plate was like two of my hands. It was great, great time.
So let me ask you then, since you had all that food, how many extra days of workouts will you have to put in this week to get all that back off again?
Every day is gonna be a tour day this week. Every day. Every day this week is gonna be a tour day. Just because I already know I came home and just ate and sat there like it was Thanksgiving. So it was a blessing.
Man. Well, let's just go ahead and talk about that since we're on the topic. We'll jump right in with that. Talk about your all season training regimen now that you've been out of school for a little bit. and you're pursuing professional football dreams. What are you doing to stay ready for an opportunity? And talk about that routine. Is it a 3 day a week, a 5 day a week, a 7 day a week program? And in that program, also talk about what is it you're focusing on right now. Is it fundamentals and techniques? Is it strength and conditioning? Is it agility? Is it speed? Is it flexibility? Is it maybe recovery methods? What exactly are you doing and what are you focusing on most?
So how I usually do my workouts is I go 2 days on, and I give my day 1 day off for rest. So no matter what day it is, I'll have a workout either on that day, or I'll be having a rest day for that day. And on my rest days, I usually do some type of bike or cardio just to make sure like my body is not just sitting there doing nothing and just full depress. But during my days, I go Monday. Well, first starting on Monday, so that's how I formulate this to start. So my Mondays will go chest and arms, and then I'll do a speed and agility workout after that. And I usually do my workouts since I'm in Columbia right now. I jet to Lincoln, and they have an open field, so I usually use their fields for any agility and speed drills that I want to work on and stuff like that. And then on my second days, I usually do lower body, and then usually a full body at the end, and like that'll be my big core days where I'll be doing a lot of core work. So right after that, boom, I'll jump right from there, jump to Lincoln University, and we'll go right back to some agility and speed work where I do like cones, do ladder drills, any type of, I would say, running or route drills that'll keep me fundamentally sound, I should say. I feel like a big part of my game is being able to be diverse with my route running, so I have to make sure I stay on any type of in routes, out routes, whips, um, zigs where you go out and in, or you do wheel routes. I have a quarterback down in at Lincoln that used to play. He's currently not playing now. And then we throw the ball whenever we do get a chance, but he's not there. I'm still on the field working. So, and my rest days, I usually do like a 45 minute either on the bike, or I'll do 45 minutes on the not the treadmill, but it's the elliptical. I usually feel like it really gives me a really big burn, and it's good for my cardio as well. So I usually like those days. On my last days, so I go 2 days on, 1 day off, and I go right back into it. And I'm doing the exact same thing over and over and over again.
Okay. Now, talking about the recovery portion of your off season program, what kinds of things are you doing recovery wise to keep your muscles limber and work out any kind of knots, bruises, any strains, pulls, any kind of thing? Like, what are you doing recovery wise?
So the beautiful part about Lincoln University, and I'm not trying to give a shout out or anything like that, is they have a facility called the Link, and the Link gives you access to a lot of programs or workouts that you can do at the Link. So at the Link, they may have yoga day, which is every Monday at 4, and then it's every Wednesday at 5:30. I want to say 5:30 or 4:30, and I usually do the Monday workouts, and then I hit the Wednesday at 4. So then it gives me a chance to, okay, if I need yoga, I know on these days I have to go get yoga. If I don't have the opportunity to go get yoga, then I'll do either formulate stretches at home, or I'll do stretches while I'm at the gym. Um, I also go to Planet Fitness. They have really good massage workouts. I know that sounds crazy, but you got to get it how you got to get it. So I usually will sit in the massage chair right after my workouts and just sit there for about 45, 50 minutes, going back up, getting gold coins so I can refill the machine and sit right back in there for another little bit. So that's usually how my depress works for my body and stress.
Do you do cryotherapy at all, or have you tried that, or are you familiar with the process? Or
Cryotherapy, can you explain me that again? Because I've heard it before, but I'm not 100%.
cryotherapy is those chambers you get inside of, and they close you up in those chambers, and it's like bitterly cold, and it's supposed to, the gases and all that to kind of heal muscles and things like that.
So I've heard of that. I have not tried that before. It actually was really, really neat and cool to try. I'm not a big ice bath person. That's why I'm so big on stretching. Um, but I usually, if I have to ice, I'll ice my feet. That's usually the biggest part of my body that usually has the most stress is the bottoms of my feet, which is why I probably have athlete's foot now. So
So over the course of your football career, let's just start with high school and beyond. Have you had a lot of issues with major injuries or tears or pulls, or have
I
you
have.
been able to put yourself not only with whatever the, let's say, the colleges had you doing, but maybe during time away from the colleges, have you been able to put yourself in a position routine wise throughout a calendar year that you don't experience a lot of pulls, strains, tears?
So I've never went through a pull or a tear, but I've had a fracture in my ankle, which I had surgery on. I want to say in 2019, literally right after the season, and then that was just basically microscopic surgery, 3 incisions, and then basically they cleaned up the scar tissue. And then they filled me up with a little calcium, and right after that, I went right into a rehab process, which is why I wanted to jump into therapy when I talked about that. Um, so that was a big thing, and it taught me so much about preparation for your body before workouts, after workouts, before any type of practice. And I actually carry that on in my day to day routine now. So, like, you'll catch me just spacing out. I'll just be doing ankle drills, just in my free time, just because I know ankles are very, very fragile for athletes like myself. So
Do you feel confident in yourself to um, continue to evolve your routine year to year to sustain the beating that a professional football career can exact on your body, or where are you at in a mental process, confidence wise, with that?
mentally, I feel that I am mentally prepared. I feel like the conference that I played in has prepared me very, very well. I played in MIAA for 4 seasons. And all one of those seasons, I went through brutal, brutal beatings by people who went to the league, and also people who may have just went and played either overseas or they had other dreams and stuff like that. So I do believe that in the MIAA, you have a really, really good um, preparation into well, let me say mental preparation for what is to come. So I do believe that I'm 100% capable of taking any. Yeah.
Okay. I mean that's a big deal, regardless of what position. A professional football career can exact a heavy toll of damage on your body, and so if you're overseas maybe, and it's a place where the team doesn't have maybe a good formal training camp and in season, weightlifting, uh, flexibility recovery type program, a lot of it's going to be on your own responsibility, and so it's important, that you be confident enough in yourself to put together your own program, regardless of indoor, outdoor, back home in the States or overseas, to where you can still achieve the things you need to physically and be able to withstand that beating and still perform at a high level. And so that's why I asked that question. If you felt confident in yourself, even if the team doesn't have the resources and program in place, can you independently do it on your own?
Yes, and that's where I feel that I can fill that void for myself, just in case um, it's not available or ready available for me. It wouldn't be the first time that I've been put in that position where we had to formulate our own workouts. It was most days in practice where I had to lead drills, most days in weights where we would have to lead the training, and we would have to formulate our own workouts, and then we would build different workouts off of those workouts that we're doing. So it's going to be a learning curve again to get back into that mindset, but I 100% know that I can. fulfill that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes depending on the country you go play, if you do an overseas tour, sometimes you will have to set up your own program and create your own resources and find a way to get your routine done every day outside of what the team is doing and having you do, and so that's a huge piece, that you know to get into YouTube videos or reach back to your former strength and conditioning coaches or former trainers or um, private position coaches that maybe you've worked with over the years and find things you can do in your own time to prevent injuries and to continue to be able to perform at a high level while taking a physical beating on the field. And so, let's jump back now. Obviously, we kind of got into a different topic that was a little further down the road interview wise, but let's jump back to the beginning a little bit. Let's talk about your football journey. Talk about where you played your high school ball and how did you come into the opportunity to play at Fort Hays State, and then take us through the portion of your journey where you ended up leaving Fort Hays State and moving on to Lincoln University. Kind of take us through that timeline, and just talk about the different experiences and just bring us up to the present day where you are now.
Okay. So I started my high school journey at Summit Christian Academy, where we ran a basic air raid offense. At my time out there, I was able to, I think I spent 2 seasons at Summit Christian. In both seasons, we got first team all conference, and then you also got honorable mention all state, which was a lot of fun playing in a smaller league in Missouri, which they say like whenever those leagues drop off, so it's a talent level, but that talent level doesn't drop off. You still got people that work hard and they bust their chops just like anybody else in the state. And being able to as a freshman come in and play with varsity, it was amazing. I know a lot of people don't get that experience, so for me to be able to jump in and create an impact for my team was a lot of fun. During my sophomore season, right after that sophomore season, I transferred to Lincoln University. Well, not Lincoln University, Lee Summit North, and they are literally about 15 minutes from each other, really right up the road. It's on, I want to say, the same road. And they're a 7A class school in Missouri, which is a lot bigger than what I was used to, which was a lot more people at the games, a lot more anxiety, a lot more pressure, and a lot of people they expect you to play well whenever you're playing with a lot more people coming to the game. So it was a lot of fun playing with that type of pressure, and then being around those groups of guys that are used to it, and they quickly learn and get you adjusted to this type of play and this type of atmosphere that you're going to be around, which was a blast. And at Lincoln, or not Lincoln, and at Lee Summit North, we also ran a air raid offense, and both seasons I was able to scratch out all conference as well, which was a blast to play. I played my first playoff game at Lincoln, and although we went through the first round, it was a lot of fun. Right after my senior season, I actually had no offers coming out of college, just I want to say like partial offers. I got a partial offer to Ball State, and then I also got a partial offer to Drake University. Took a couple visits there, and right before I was getting ready to make the decision to sign with Drake University, I got a call from Stephen Dudley. He's a coach. He was former coach at Fort Hays State University, and whenever I got that call, it was like, come to the middle of nowhere in Kansas and just come check out our school. And I came out there and I had a blast. I was able to meet with the coach, and I actually got a good feel of the camaraderie and actually family, and it felt like a good place to be at that point in time. So when I came home, I talked with my family, and they were like, "Is this what you want to do?" And I said yes. Now, they didn't offer me. They just told me I would have to be a walk-on at the time just because their recruiting was so late, and they had already offered as many people as they could offer. So I came in there with the intention of playing for a scholarship, and I went in there with that mindset. Was able to make well, they said they were going to redshirt me, so I immediately started with a red shirt, but I was able to make the travel team, which was a lot of fun to do. And we actually went 11-0, won conference. Then we went to a playoffs, and I got to go to another first playoff game in the MIAA, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of that. We lost to Fair State, so they actually went on to win the national championship, I think, that year, if I'm not mistaken. And that was in 2017, initially right out of high school. Right after that season, went right back in with Fort Hays State. And at Fort Hays State, they moved me up to second string on the roster, and I was able to get some playing time, and I was able to turn some heads. Through at the end of the season, I had a one-on-one sit down with coach, and the coach was like, "We are not able to offer you anything at the moment." And at that point in time, I had a talk with my family, like, if this is what we're going to do, I need to know if I'm going to go home or if I'm going to just stay here. So we ended up getting a call from Coach Smith at Lincoln University, and Coach Smith brought me over for a little interview. And after that interview, he was just like, "I like you. I like what you're doing. You can come here and you can ball out for the spring. And if you ball out for the spring, I'll put you on a scholarship immediately." And right after he said that, I took a leap of faith and I jumped on it, and I busted my chops for those 3 months. And right after those 3 months, he immediately gave me a scholarship and he immediately awarded me the starting position. And we went right into the 2019 season, which I told you I fractured my ankle, I think week 5. So I just played the rest of the season with the fraction, and then got the what is that called? Got the surgery.
Yeah, the orthoscopic surgery.
Yep, the microscopic surgery right after that season ended. So it was just a lot of fun being able to play. And I actually got about I want to say 4 touchdowns, and then like over 700 all-purpose yards, which is crazy as playing with a broken ankle. So that gave me the confidence that I figured, or I thought, that I lost from Fort Hays State, and I regained that confidence right back. And they even they came to me and said, "Hey, look, we like what you're doing, and we want to improve you into our offense a little more. We want you to run some slot. We want you to take on a bigger role as a part of the team." And I jumped on it, took it 100%. And I stayed those next 2 years until I graduated. I was able to get all conference my senior season there, although we weren't able to play up to par, but we were able to do some good things.
So let's talk about a couple things. Let's kind of back up a minute there through your timeline.
Yeah.
See, you go to Fort Hays State, and you're a walk-on there, and you have to earn your way, pay your dues, climb the ladder a little bit, get that scholarship. Was there ever a moment where you weren't confident in your abilities and skills to earn that scholarship, or were you confident that, hey, this is just a 3-month period, I can do this standing on my head, I'm gonna knock this thing out and get this scholarship?
So during that time period, I actually did have a spurt of places where I lacked a little confidence in myself, just because, like, when you're putting all that work in and you don't see results, everybody is usually looking for instant gratification. And when that instant gratification doesn't come, it's either you fold or you work harder. And during that time period, I told myself, like, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel like I'm not as good as anybody else. So I just worked harder. And we had to have that man-to-man conversation with the coach, saying, "Hey, if this isn't it, then we just got to move forward and we got to move on. At this point, it's a business, and which is quite all right. You understand how the game works, so you just got to move forward."
Yeah. So when you got put on scholarship, did you appreciate it more having to earn it the hard way versus just coming out of high school, being thrown an offer and signing and being like, "Oh yeah, I'm a scholarship player"?
Most definitely. Immediately right when I got it, I think, like, our whole running back room was just like ecstatic for me. So like just having that weight lifted off my shoulders, being like, all right, I can actually play this game, and I can actually play this game to a very high level. It made me appreciate my craft a whole heck of a lot more. Being able to get not instant gratification, but you were still able to reach that gratification that you were looking for. So yes.
Yeah. Do you find yourself talking to younger athletes and using your journey, the circumstances you had to deal with as a way to mentor them and talk to them about, hey, there's nothing wrong with earning it the hard way. Even though it's not given to you right out of high school, it's still okay to put your head down and grind and chase it the hard way.
Right,
Do you
right.
ever find yourself talking to athletes and sharing those insights with them?
I do. I do. I have a athlete he's in high school. His name is Jared Purdy. He plays for Hayes High School, and he talks to me all the time about my situation and then like how I ended up at Lincoln because he used to come to the games all the time. Um, and he was a very very good athlete at the time, and he was having some mental toughness, and I had to tell him like, hey, sometimes you just gotta work through that. It's okay to be in that tough position, but as long as you keep persevering, you keep working through it, like it's gonna pay off. And those type of talks are not just good and inspirational for him, but it's also inspirational for myself because it's like I'm able to look back and see where I actually came from. So
Absolutely. I think a lot of times when you look at the NFL, not all the time, but a lot of the time, guys that have come from big time schools and were scholarship athletes right out of high school, when they leave college, it's almost like they expect things to be given to them. They expect to walk into an NFL team and start. They expect to walk in and be a captain. They expect to walk in and be treated with a certain amount of respect. And a lot of times, not all, but a lot, those guys tend to wash out of the NFL or CFL faster than guys that come from a D2 or a D3 level. Maybe they were a walk on or it was a D3 that can only do academic scholarships and not football scholarships. And those guys, as you young guys say, have to get it out of the mud.
right,
And I think a lot of times when you look at that, those particular athletes tend to have a chip on their shoulder. And when they do get a shot at the pros, they appreciate it more and they work harder to earn the right to keep moving up the ladder. They don't just, all right, I'm on the professional ladder and they're just content. They
right,
still have that chip on their shoulder and something to prove. And so they grind even more to start to climb that professional ladder like they've got something to prove to people. So I think your circumstances are definitely a testament to the fact that it's okay to have to get it out of the mud a little bit, even though you had a successful high school career. It may not start out perfect, but if you just put your head down and say, okay, I'm going to deal with it, and you focus and you go to work again, things can still play out the way you want them to play out. It may take a month or two, but
mm-hmm.
in time, it will come to a point to where it's the way you want it to be.
Exactly. I 100% agree with that. And I think that I kind of model myself after that a little bit. I always want to feel like that I have that chip on my shoulder. I feel like me playing without that, it would be a totally different athlete. It would not be the same. So I feel like whenever I have that chip on my shoulder, I'm in a totally different mindset, totally different zone, and it's just like I zone out and just play.
So you come right into Fort Hays State. You're a freshman. You get to be a part of the travel team. You're not necessarily on the field playing and contributing, but you're part of a program that wins a championship, a conference championship. Turn around in 2018, the team does it again. What's that like for you early on as a college athlete to be a part of back to back championship programs and come out with two rings within the first 2 years of your college career?
It was melodic. Everything felt like it was moving in motion, not just I would say discipline wise, but everything was just in order. Most of our athletes from the senior class all the way down to the freshman class, it was known you have something to prove. and we're trying to get somewhere. And if you're not trying to get to where we're going, why are you on the same field as us? And that's the same mindset that I keep now, and that's the same mindset that I'm going to keep having. It won't change. So that mindset and seeing that right when I get into my collegiate career, it set a precedent for me to, okay, chip doesn't come from me just working hard. The chip comes from the attitude that I take on the field that, okay, nobody across from me can beat me. Only I can beat myself. And that's how I believe. And I think that's really where the chip actually started. I think it probably started before any of the confidence destruction or before the boost. Like I believe that the my initial day when we first got there, and they killed us for 2 days, and they said, be back at 6:30 in the morning tomorrow, and everybody just walked off like it was nothing. I was like, oh yeah, this is different. This is totally different. Great question.
So the second year at Fort Hays State, you said you got a little bit of time on the field, you started to get a few touches and kind of be put into the offensive game plan a little bit. Did getting onto the field and actually being able to produce on the field with your teammates and then winning another ring, did that really validate your journey to that point? All the having to, okay, I was a walk-on when I came in here, had to put my head down and work again, had to prove myself and earn a scholarship. Then I had to prove that I belonged on the field. Now I'm on the field, even if it's a limited amount of time, I'm on the field. But now I'm also on the field helping produce another championship. Did that really, in your mind, kind of validate everything you had to go through adversity-wise to get to that point?
Looking back, I think it did. Looking back, I think that it had a very huge impact on myself as an athlete. It taught me that your play, you may not get another rep, so you gotta take each rep as it is your last, because you never know when either that time is gonna get called where you may bust or tear ACL, or you may just get benched for the rest of the game. So each one you have to take it at full swing, and you got to take full advantage of each opportunity that you get.
Absolutely. So you move on to Lincoln. All right. Now we're back to pretty much square one. Now you got to go and do the whole walk-on process again and earn the ability to get a scholarship again and to get on the field again. What was that like? Were you even the least bit not the least bit, I guess, least bit not confident about the situation, I guess is the way I can say it, or were you just really confident when the coach said, here's the situation? Did you just come out and be like, hey, that's fine, I've already done this before, not a big deal?
Yeah, when the opportunity was bestowed upon me, I immediately thought as in, okay, I've been in this situation before. It's either right back to it or we're one and done. So that's my mental process. If I went in and they told me like, hey, like this isn't for you, then I was just gonna say, okay, let's just go ahead and do schoolwork. But going in there, I took it every mental rep. I took every physical rep as it was like do or die, and that mindset. When you do something over a period of time, it becomes a habit, and that mindset became a habit for me to take everything as serious as possible, and I think that is inherently what helped elevate my play, and it also helped see the coaches see that, okay, like he can actually play, he can play with us.
Absolutely. That I kind of figured that would be the answer, but I was just curious if there was any kind of frustration, negativity. Man, I gotta do this crap again, or was it just like, you know what? I already did this once and I proved I belong there, so it's not a big deal to do it again here.
Right, right. I agree. There was some frustration after I left, and when I looked at our schedule for the next year, I seen everybody that I just played, and I said, okay, I know this conference. I know I can play in this conference. Now it's the fact that okay, let me show everybody else that I can actually play in this conference, and that was the mindset that I took, and that I took for those next 2 years. That okay, I'm still in the MIAA. Like the team may have changed, but the circumstances haven't. So I'm still playing in MIAA. I'm still able to show that I can play and compete in the NCAA Division II league. So with that mindset, I just said, okay, we're just gonna run with it and let the chips fall where they may.
Absolutely. So here we are at the present day now, and now you're on the outside looking in, so to speak. You know, how does that feel knowing that okay, now I got to put some work in and I got to be patient. Um, um, you know, what's your mental process been like now through this, as far as having to trust the process, having to embrace the process, having to have some faith, um, and stay committed, you know, and just knowing you're not on the field right now where you want to be, but how has that been for you? How have you handled that to this point?
It was an adjustment period for sure. It was a time where I believe like, okay, I should be playing right now. Why am I not playing right now? And that was the more of the frustration. Um, but like my parents always tell me, your time is coming. And you just got to keep being steadfast, and you just got to stay narrowly focused. So that's where my mindset has been narrowly focused. Got to stay ready. Don't get ready. And that's how I've been preparing each day, and then that's how I am looking into my future.
Talking about your future, obviously you and I have spoken offline, and you already know that there's interest already overseas. A lot of that started by your friend Marcus, continued on by myself with conversations with Coach Sturgis, who I interviewed just a few days back. I don't know if you had a chance to watch that or not. Um, he suggested interviewing him and letting him talk about the experience overseas and his team and the Czech league. So obviously, there's some opportunities right now, and there's going to be more opportunities that will present themselves in the next handful of weeks and in the next month or two. Um, what has that done for your confidence level, and does it excite you that there's an opportunity for you to continue playing even beyond the college level, and to possibly build a resume that gets you not only on the professional ladder, but eventually helps you start to climb that ladder?
I believe it's very exciting for me, and not necessarily a confidence boost. It's more of a humbling feeling because you don't want to get too cocky, obviously. But I just want to make sure that I'm staying like myself through all of this, and I'm not changing. And that's the biggest thing. I believe that me myself, um, I get chills just thinking about playing again. And I could be in a workout, or I could just be sitting in bed, just thinking to myself, and I'll get chills. So the excitement is there. Um, no animosity or no like anxiety comes with it. It's just pure okay excitement. Let's wherever I go play, like let's go get some wins, and then let's go build a resume. Honestly.
What is your thought process about possibly playing overseas as your first professional destination, and then maybe utilizing that to kind of backdoor your way into maybe indoor arena, or from there maybe backdooring into the USFL or XFL? Do you feel confident in yourself to go if that's where the destination is, and work hard and lead a team and build a resume that can put you back over here stateside and continue climbing that ladder?
Yes, I believe I can play at any level. That's the mindset that I'm gonna keep with myself. I believe that wherever I play, I will be able to make an impact, whether it's either on the field or off the field. I also believe that um, overseas was not like a first look for me. Being in college or out of college, it was never something I thought about. Anything overseas that I ever um, pictured or knew about was the CFL league in Canada. So coming out and then now seeing that I could have the opportunity to play overseas is an amazing feeling, and it's also very exciting. And honestly, it's just if that's where the chips fall, then I'll be excited to go play wherever. Honestly.
Nice, nice. Um, let's talk a little bit about community service efforts. You know, as a college athlete, obviously you had to be a part of that various ways, whether it was Habitat for Humanity or um, whether it was visiting children's hospitals or Boys and Girls Club and mentoring youth athletes. Um, um, you know, I guess my question is, what I was trying to get at is, as you're pushing towards becoming a professional athlete, are there things you're currently involved in community service wise, even in this down period? Or are there things that you've heard about, read about, been told about that you said, man, I want to be a part of that in the future? And once I become a professional, I want to focus my efforts in that area. Talk to me a little bit about your community service experience and your thoughts about it moving forward.
Um, so I have had the blessing to be a part of Special Olympics in Missouri in Jeff City. I was able to do that all spring of 2022, and then I also helped out. Yeah, in the spring of 23 as well. So it's been a lot of fun messing around with the Special Olympics, whether it be with just basketball or just regular movie nights, because it doesn't have an age range. It can go anywhere from 5 all the way to 65. So I've been able to see Special Olympics athletes watch their drills, coach their drills, and be a part of their drills. So it's been a lot of fun. And then we also had it's such a it's not cricket, but it's like the rolling ball. Um, but we did like it was a big Special Olympics games where we did that with all the athletes, and it was a lot of fun. Um, I came in with a team. We did not play too well. It was my first time playing the game myself. So, but it was a lot of fun, and being one of the mentors up there it was a blast and a humbling experience for myself. So, I also I did physical therapy internships down in Kansas City in 2021 in the summer of 2021. And I was able to be around whether it was gymnasts or just regular day average Joes that would come in for injuries, and then I'll be able to just help out and do what I can, where I just create workout plans, create exercise plans for themselves and rehabs as well. So it was pretty cool and a good experience, and that's more of the lines of where I want to help and touch my community.
Okay, okay, I got you. I got you. I want to, and this is something I was trying to think in my head how to process it a minute ago. I want to step back real quick. You talked about earlier, helping run drills, set up drills, in high school, college, different things like that. And you talked about just now working with Special Olympics and mentoring and working with athletes in that space in that arena, so to speak. Do you feel confident in yourself to be able to go overseas if a team were to offer you and not just be a player, but serve in a coaching capacity? Because being overseas and playing, that's one of the biggest things they ask about is players that have coaching experience or are willing to coach, because they ask you to work with their youth programs and be an ambassador to the game and share your knowledge about the game of football, from a fundamental and technique standpoint, from a schematic standpoint, and help them understand and learn the game the way we know it. So a lot of times, if a player does not have coaching experience or will not help coach or doesn't feel that's something they want to be a part of, they lose out on opportunities. So again, my question is, do you feel confident in yourself, even in your limited amount of time, maybe just assisting a position coach and setting up and running drills with your guys, or doing Special Olympics and mentoring and kind of coaching athletes, in the Special Olympics? Are you confident that you can go in as a professional player overseas and also serve in some kind of coaching capacity at the same time?
Yes, I do. I believe that your game translates to how well you can teach it to someone else. So if you can't really teach what you're doing, then you have to work at that a lot more. I believe that just working with younger athletes and being able to have an impact on someone else's game, especially that they play your position, it means the world to me. So me being asked to do a coaching role in a younger for the younger generation and bringing them up, I believe that that would be fun and that would be something that I would be willing to do.
Good answer. Good answer. Um, let's stay on the coaching side of things for a moment. Um, talk about the different offensive schemes that you've been a part of. Think back, you know, high school, but more so college. Um, and talk about a little bit about your responsibilities and roles in those offensive schemes. And then talk about which schemes do you feel you're most comfortable in, and which schemes do you feel present more of a challenge to dig deeper into the playbook and spend more time studying and more film review to get yourself to a point of being comfortable with that scheme?
Okay. So yeah, like I started with Summit Christian back all the way in high school. We started with the air raid system, and being in that system was able to open my mind up to there's more than just get saying hike and then hand the ball off, or saying hike and throwing a go route. There's a lot more to the game, and being able to see the insides of an air raid offense and how I can fit into the air raid offense where I don't have to just stay in the backfield. I can go and run a couple routes in the slot. I can come back and I can come in a two back set, and then we can run either option or something like that off of it. That was very, very eye opening, and I had the luxury of translating my air raid offense from each team that I moved from to have about the same offense. So when I transferred to Lee Summit North, we ran another air raid offense, and then they sprinkled option in there when they realized, okay, we have a dual threat back that can do multiple things. He won't be able to just sit there and just block all day. We want to get him out in the run. We want to get him out in the pass, so we can go ahead and get him in space in one-on-one defenders where I'm actually good at, and then I can make my moves. Being able to translate that in Fort Hays State, we also ran a spread air raid offense. In my second year there, we actually transitioned into more of like a speed option rule, but we still kept the traditional air raid offense as well because we had a gunslinger, so we just let him throw it. Um, but being in that type of offense, it showed me that I can really sit back and play the running back position, and then I can go and play the slot position because that's when they open more doors for routes out the backfield, and they initiated that, hey, if nobody's going to cover the back, you got to get it to the back. Um, and then transitioning from the air raid and spread offense from Fort Hays State for those 2 years to Lincoln, where they ran a traditional spread option. Um, it was, I wouldn't say night and day, but it was definitely an adjustment period because instead of running just straight zones, it's now everything is a read. So you may or you may not get the ball, or you may get it and it won't be the same type of blocking setup or the same type of blocking scheme that I was used to. So it was just a small adjustment period with that. But even in the spread option and seeing that, I was able to formulate and realize that, hey, I can run jet sweeps, I can run pitches outside, I can run like the zip. We call it zips, but is where you come in and you come back on the motion and then you can run a route off the motion. That is where I really became really, really good with my routes, because I was actually running full practices with the receivers. I wasn't just running full practices with straight running backs as I was at Fort Hays State. So being able to, I feel like that transitioned my game to more of a dual threat running back, and that's where I really feel like that elevated myself.
Talk a little bit about your responsibilities in the air raid at the running back position. What kinds of things are you responsible for executing in that offense?
So how we ran it at Fort Hays, I'll just do it for Fort Hays for college purposes. We ran mostly downhill and in zones. So if I had a zone read, we ran it away from the one technique, and then if I had power, we ran it right at that one technique. So if they call it Raven, you run in Raven, you're either running it at the one. So if your one is on the other side of that, it's on the other side of that center, you're switching that play up, and you're doing that almost immediately. And being in that offense, it's not just okay, you get the ball and then that's it. You're gonna have to block. So they take care of the front four, and if there's a guy off the edge like Bandit, if he blitzes, then I have to pick that Bandit up. If not, then I'm right back at my mic in the middle, or I'm right back at my mic on the other side of the center. And usually, depending on the defenses we played, they usually ran either a 4-3 or they ran a 4-2, and you getting dirty in that mixes. So it's a lot of fun.
It sounds like you're well versed in it. I mean, obviously, you touched on a lot of the responsibilities there. You talked a little bit about the scheme and the objectives of the scheme. Talk to me about what offensive scheme you feel is a little more challenging for you at this point in your football career. One that you have to spend a little more time in the playbook or in the film room, or excuse me, or maybe on the field. Working with the QB and maybe a fellow running back to really understand the concept and the responsibilities. Talk to me about that. What's been the most challenging, or what do you feel is the most challenging knowledge at this point?
I believe that Lincoln, being my transition period to Lincoln, was pretty rough. From going from air raid to straight speed option, where now you don't you're not just straight blocking on one play. Everything is either a read or it's going to be a pass. And if he hands it off, you better be making sure he's handing it off, because if he's not and he's pulling and throwing and you miss, oh yeah, you're coming right out the game. There's no question. So being in that type of system, you learn quick, and that was more of something that I had to, okay, let me make sure that, okay, if we're running 33 South, then I got to make sure that my read routes are perfectly perfect on my side, just in case he pulls and he sees that they might have that sandbacker. If he jumps and he's pulling, he's throwing that slant right there. So I have to be either hands ready or I have to be in my position, because he's throwing at a spot. He's not going to throw it right at us.
Okay. All right. Who do you model your game after?
Oh, my mom.
Whether it's a past or present professional running back in the NFL or CFL even, who is it that you model your game after?
So I think that I model my game after 3 running backs. The first one being Reggie. I feel like he started myself. Just being able to watch and emulate and formulate my game after Reggie was just really, really big, which is why I'm such a Saints fan now. I bleed black and gold. Another person I model my game after is LaMichael James. He's a smaller, shiftier guy, and I was able to look at him formulate moves, see what type of moves that I'm really good at, what type of moves that I wasn't good at. And the last one I would say would be Christian McCaffrey, just because he's so versatile. So those are the three running backs that I think that I emulate my game after or behind.
Let me see if I make sure I got them bank account. You just, yeah, you just all right. Sorry about that. I had to step to the side for just a second. I was listening to your answer, but I had to step around the corner for just a second. I apologize sincerely.
You're all good.
So,
You're all good.
Reggie Bush is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
USC guy, can run with some power. He was a shifty guy. Definitely could be a receiver out of the backfield. Good, great, guy to model your career after. So, who do you look up to? Professional running back, past, present. Who do you look up to the most?
The most, just somebody that does the game well, like on and off the field. I would say Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, talk about that. Why do you look up to Christian?
He's very versatile, and then he interviews well. He speaks well. He gets right to his point whenever he's speaking about whatever he wants to talk about, and he keeps his teammates involved. He's a very, very, very good team player. You don't hear anyone talking bad about Christian McCaffrey, and he's very versatile. So you can put him into any system. I feel like he'll be able to thrive just because he's a team player, and that's how I kind of want to be. So.
What about on the field? Why do you look up to him on the field? As far as not just being the leader part, but talk about his skills and abilities as a running back compared to you. What is it that you look up to him about from a skills and ability standpoint?
Being able to be a complete playmaker, being able to put him in, whether you put him in slot, outside, or you put him in the backfield, he'll be able to make plays for you. He can throw the ball out the backfield, and with something I was able to do at Lincoln, which was pretty cool and pretty fun. So that's somebody that I definitely look at on the field as, okay, he's the guy. You can emulate. This is somebody you should look up to. This is somebody that won't put you in a bad path, I should say.
The final play is played. Final game is done. Clock hits 0-0-0-0, and you hang your cleats up.
Mm-hmm.
Where does Tori go from there? What's your plans after football? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your plans at this point after your football career is over?
After my career is over, I am looking to open up my own outpatient therapy office. I want to be able to do therapy for not just athletes, but anybody that has injuries or little bumps and boo boos that I can rehab or heal. I feel like it's a pretty cool thing to see someone that is in a ill state and being able to put them back into a healthy state. I feel like being in a healthy part of your life is the best part of your life. So why not help people get to that part? So.
Tori, this has been an amazing interview, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to sit down with you and talk with you about your football career and being a client here at Hidden Gem Sports Scouting. I want to apologize for the brief interruption just a minute ago. I apologize. I try to make sure that on my end things are quiet and calm and nothing that could potentially interfere with me performing an interview, but I just want to sincerely apologize for that.
Oh, no, you're fine.
But again, it's been a pleasure and an honor. I really appreciate your trust in me and Hidden Gems to help you get on the professional ladder and then start to climb that ladder as we build that resume. we'll be doing another one of these interviews moving forward. We'll do a follow up with you. Maybe after you signed your first contract, we'll talk about the upcoming opportunity. So it'll be a month or two down the road. As we schedule another interview. But signing your contract and a potential opportunity could come very shortly. So,
Right.
like I said, we will do a follow up interview and we'll make sure that there are no interruptions at that time. And but anyway, let everybody out there know that's been watching or is watching or will see this at a later time. Let everybody know how they can find you on social media. What platforms are you on? How can they reach you? Talk about that real quick.
Okay. So if you do need to reach me, whether it's by email, you can email me at tjhicks5@gmail.com. If you want to see me on social media, I do have Instagram and I have Facebook as well. Instagram is under TMHXII. Again, I'll say TMHXII. If you want to reach me on Facebook, it's right under TJ Hicks. Just search me up, and then you should be able to find me. But I think that's all good.
And I'll say this too to add into that. Any scout, coach, general manager, player personnel director that may have seen this interview, watched this interview, or will see this at a later time and has a potential opportunity for Tori, you can reach his social media pages through our website. When you go to the web address scrolling at the bottom of your screen, click on professional prospects on the menu bar. When you get to that page, you will see a listing of all of our clientele. Under his picture, you will see his name, his sport, and his positions. And then you will see social media icons. If you click those icons, it will take you to his personal pages. So that's easy access point there. In addition to that, if you have opportunities, you can DM us on any of our social media platforms. Currently, that's Facebook and Twitter. Our Instagram account unfortunately got hacked, and we're working to recover that. But you can still reach us on Facebook and Twitter. You can email us at hg, the number one, at hgsports with an S, scouting.com. You can also call us on the number listed on the website. So again, I just want to thank everybody that did tune in, even if it was for a brief period or for the long term of the interview. I want to thank anybody that watches this at a later time. And I just want to, just show our appreciation for that. Tori, I want to tell you again, I appreciate you taking the time out of your Sunday evening to do this interview and spend some time with me. We reached the 1 hour mark, so we went just a little bit over, or we're right at the mark where I said we would be. So thank you again. I look forward to seeing anybody and everybody that has joined us on the next interview. I will be conducting another interview here shortly with another new client. And so I welcome anybody to come back and join us here in just a brief period, maybe about 15, 20 minutes, and we'll take off on another interview. So for now, I'll say so long, and we'll see you here shortly. Thank you so much.
I appreciate the opportunity for you.
Absolutely.